Hey everyone, it's Jake Clark, John Schneider, Eric Falvey, and Todd Atchison today on the Fargo 3D Printing Show. Don't know what podcast number it is, so we're just going to skip that.
19.
19. So, we're going to talk about a couple different things today. First, we're going to talk about our 1-year anniversary. Then we got some new machines in. We got the Lulzbot Mini and the Cube 3. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And then we had some people from some local
West Fargo public school system.
Yes, they showed up today for InSourced. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So let's dive into our 1-year anniversary. So yay, we've been here a year. Woo!
Yeah, so it was only just a little bit over. Even the head crab's excited. Just a little bit over a year ago, I was still running Meld Workshop. Jake came to me, wanted to know if I wanted to sell 3D printers with him. Long story short, I said, yeah, I can help out a little bit. It was more of a, hey, let's see where this goes. And before you knew it, everything just started taking off. Things started happening very quickly.
Had a Todd hanging around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Todd, you met us.
So how did we all meet?
So the same day. So the same day that Jake and I met, and this was at a 3D printing demo at the public library.
Summer 2013.
So that was Ben Bernard putting that on, right?
Yep. So Ben Bernard put that on. Ben Bernard was aware of me because I was interested in starting a makerspace. He was aware of Jake because they both had MakerBot Replicator 2s. And Todd, I think you're just
something for my son to do, and
right.
I got sucked in.
Yeah. So that first 3D printing demo, that's where Jake and I met, and Todd was also there. And yes, I mean, we've all known each other. Well, Eric, we met you later.
September, maybe, something.
Yeah. So went from there, and I mean, we didn't really start hitting Fargo 3D printing too hard until I'd say this past summer, somewhere around
March, April, May.
Yeah, I think April is the first trade show that we went to. Well, that we exhibited at.
Yeah.
That was at the.
That was in Bismarck.
Yep. So
STEM network.
Went and did that. We had been working on repair and replacement parts for MakerBot Rep 2s. Still doing that. That is still going strong. And yeah, I mean, we've picked up along the way. We're now at, I think it's 4 printer lines that we represent. Well, so MakerBot, 3D Systems, Lulzbot, Type A machines.
And FlashForge very soon.
And FlashForge, yeah. So FlashForge is more, it's a different type of customer. I mean, really, all the different printers, they're a different type of customers. They all have their own little niche. But we went from carrying just MakerBot to now representing 5 lines. So being able to offer that to that many more people. So that's been great. I don't know what else has been going on.
Well, I mean, the one big thing with you is you left your job in May of last year.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, end of April, because that's when we went to MakerBot, was right about then.
Or the 3 systems?
No.
Oh, when we went to MakerBot.
Yeah, when we went to MakerBot in New York. Yeah, so I quit my full-time job in April, and Jake, you quit your full-time job
middle of July.
In July, and Todd, you quit.
I'm quitting my full-time job in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, woo!
Yay for quitting the only place besides 1 Million Cups that you can cheer for quitting your job.
That was a very interesting culture at that meeting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a full-time job though. I had a lot of part-time jobs. I have 2 part-time jobs right now.
Well, hey,
that's what I like to do. I like to jump around, I guess.
Well, you're doing great work here.
Jump around. Yeah. Jump around.
As long as the video does not cut out this time.
I tested it. I wrote down the setting.
Okay, good.
Because last time it would shoot for 29 minutes. I was listening to some. He's actually a battle rap videographer. Stupid as that is. But he was talking about the difference between the price breaks. There's a reason that they have that happen. Like, for some reason, if it shoots over half an hour, it's considered a camcorder, and it has to be more expensive. Or like,
really?
There's some weird restriction on it. So
Well, the camera shouldn't cut out this time. If it does, it's still Eric's fault. If you're not seeing this right now, it's Eric's fault, and we apologize.
Oh, poor Eric just can't.
If it shoots a video over 4 gigs, that's the problem. It wasn't the time. If it's a video over 4 gigs, it's in a different area of technology.
It's a different tier.
Yeah, there are programs like not Blackmagic. That's something else.
No, there's a camera.
No, it's
like
a Magic Lantern. It's kind of like jailbreaking your phone.
Okay.
So, but enough about that. We're not talking about cameras.
So, and then you came on in September,
early
October.
September.
And like I said, Todd's going to be quitting his job next couple weeks, so we're excited for that, to bring you on full time. Then yeah, so we had on Friday, so a week from when this is airing, we had our 1 year anniversary. We had Erica put some photos up, but we had a bunch of our friends and family, more of a personal, if I could say intimate, more of a
There
party.
were quite a few people, though. I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good group of people that have. Well, I know for me, my family wasn't able to make it, but what we did, like I had some people that have been sort of sounding boards for the business as we've been going along. People that just kind of help keep us grounded. I know you had a lot of family. Eric and Katie had family there. Todd, your family was also there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was a nice gathering to have
we,
go on.
we had enough food. My mom cooked. So
Yep, that was good.
That was, and I think we still have bars back there.
We do.
So.
Oh, really?
Not
I was saying,
not for long.
Don't worry, I told Katie I
like
licked most of the ones that she wants so that I can keep
Yeah.
them for myself. But I mean, it's been a fun year. I mean, we've learned a lot. We've done a lot. I mean, we've probably shifted our business focus a handful.
Oh, we've
of different times.
definitely pivoted.
Because I mean,
We've
when
pivoted
we
a
first
few
started,
times.
we're like, oh, when I first got the deal in December of 2013 to sell MakerBots, I was like, oh, I'll go sell some
Little
machines.
side thing,
Yeah,
just,
I was like, oh, when I go to these things, I'll just mention that I sell. No big deal. Never would I have thought that it would turn into what it has and what it's going to be. I mean, this past year has been really awesome for us because we've met a lot of great people, met a lot of interesting people. A lot of great opportunities have come along for us.
Opportunities just kind of popped up in front of you, and you were
Yeah.
able to grab
Yeah.
them and run.
No, I mean, this is a crazy industry to be in right now because
People hear
there's-
that word 3D printing and they're like,
Well, I mean, there's
Yeah.
no, there's,
Oh my God, what is
there's no, it hasn't even come close to hitting the plateau yet. It's still, I mean, well, let's look at the company that we met at CES last week, or 2 weeks ago now. Well, whenever we were there, NEA 3D. I mean, they were pretty much off in the startup section of CES, so I'm sure there's cheap, less expensive booths, that kind of thing, but they have gotten an incredible amount of coverage. I mean, I didn't think that there'd be many people still able to innovate successfully with their 3D printer, or with a new 3D printer now, because it's so saturated in some aspects.
that was a Kickstarter one, right?
Well, so they haven't. I don't think they've
They're
started
doing
their
it the right way.
crowdfunding.
They're doing it the right way, where it's let's validate if this is correct. Let's test it. Let's work on it, and then
they
when
have
it's
a physical.
ready.
They have a physical working
Yeah.
printer. They had something that was working at the show, and I mean, it's nowhere near finished.
Multiple copies,
but
not
it's
just one.
Yeah, and it's ready to say, all right, we have this. It's working. We're at a comfortable spot to go to Indiegogo, Kickstarter, and say, here it is, world. And I mean, they know what. I mean, I put them on the spot. I said, so a lot of Kickstarters fail because of their manufacturing process. They can't ramp up.
They're just
you
awful.
guys have
Just awful.
And NEA sounds like they viewed that and said, yes, we realize that's an issue, and we're prepared for that, which is awesome because a lot of reasons most Kickstarters fail is because, or Indiegogo,
They can't scale it up.
They can't.
Oh no,
scale
it's
it up.
easy to make 10 of something, but as soon as someone asks you to make 1,000 of that same thing, you need to completely switch suppliers. Right. You need to. It's not just. Well, it's not just.
Can't do it in your garage anymore.
No, I mean you need a production.
Employees.
You need a production facility. You can't just be doing it. You can't be charging yourself for your own time and saying, "Yeah, I can work for $6 an hour." Right. You need to have employees. Some of those employees are going to want benefits depending on how full time they are, or if it's just part time. All the logistics of shipping. You need to warehouse everything. You need to. I mean, your suppliers.
processes.
Your suppliers are going to be different. I mean, you can't the same.
It's exponential.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just everything goes up. And then when people get frustrated when you miss your deadline or the timeline that you said that you were going to set, well, I mean, look at some of the stuff that we've done. And we thought, okay, yeah, we're going to be ready to do something in 3 months, easy. And now 9 months later, it's still coming along.
We didn't have people waiting on us, though.
We're a heck of a lot closer.
Exactly.
Well, no, that's true.
for that Project X that we're working on.
I mean, it's more internal for that stuff, but
yeah, and your whole process of, okay, how do we go through and efficiently do this better, do this so that we're not having waste, do this so that we're getting the most bang for our buck on the production floor. A lot of people are like, what's the manufacturing process? Because A, they don't know, they never learned, or they don't have the will to go and learn because they just want to do their one little thing, and that's all they want to do is their one little marketing or video thing. They don't want to learn it.
yeah. So
Look at the overall picture and how everything ties into each other.
Right. But I mean, the fact that that NEA 3D can do what they're doing and get the coverage that they can, and like we said, in a market that's that saturated, there's still so much opportunity in 3D printing right now. It's nuts. But yeah, I mean, we've changed a lot of things in the last year. You remember? Do you remember Widget Care?
What is
that?
this?
That was one of the.
That was our big idea that was going to make so much money. So Widget Care. Now, Widget Care was the answer to a problem that people were having with MakerBot, where MakerBot only offered at the time a 1-year extended warranty. So we were going to offer 2- and 3-year extended warranties, and well, basically MakerBot ended up figuring out, oh hey, this is probably something we should offer. So they started offering 2- and 3-year extended warranties on their stuff.
Like 2 weeks after.
After we decided to launch it.
After we pitched to a giant, I think, can we say who it was?
No.
Oh, so we pitched to a big company, and then I think what happened was
that big company said, "Hey, MakerBot, how come this startup of 2 guys is able to do something and you're not?" So then MakerBot got its
there
butt
was
in
some
gear.
correlation.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Which is good because I mean we can sell that many more MakerBots.
All right. I mean, and the thing is, the pricing for Widget Care and Maker Care was about the same. We still, we can still sell Maker Care, but now we don't have that big liability of, okay, well now we need to support this equipment 3 years down the road. Well, and based on what happened with the 5th gen, could you imagine if we had to support that?
Up until
talk about crisis averted.
For a blessing that
years.
was a no-go. I mean, we were pretty set on that. We're like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, this is gonna be great, and then it's like, oh, duh, and then now we're like, oh, that was a good one.
Blessing in disguise.
That was yeah.
And I mean, and the other stuff that we're doing, like right now, we're gonna start focusing more on doing some of the custom 3D printing. I mean, if you're watching the video version of this, we don't exactly have a shortage of printers behind us. I mean, they're usually going with 1 or 2 custom jobs.
And we don't have a 2X. There's a Cube Pro that's probably off
Well,
screen.
the 2X. We have a 2X. It's just it's in sick bay.
And then we got a Z18 coming, and then we have access to some of the larger equipment.
Well, and our 5th gen is also sick. MakerBot's in the here. MakerBot's port is. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal right now.
It's stepped up pretty hardcore.
Well, I said I was having a problem with getting the build plate to level, and so at first we thought it was the Z stage. They sent that out. It was there 2 or 3 days later. That still didn't fix it. Then they thought it was the smart extruder. Okay, that was actually overnighted. So that was there the next day, and then that still didn't fix it. So now they're going to be taking it in for service. I think what they're going to do is they're going to send us a new one, and then they're just going to take this one back and just have the whole thing swapped out. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it because having a working 5th gen will be nice just for demoing. And now that they've made we still haven't been able to test the new firmware on the 5th gen, which is frustrating because apparently the new firmware, that 3.4, fixed the majority of the things that were wrong with the 5th gen line of printers. So I really want to test that for myself. I mean,
on the 5th gen platform instead of
I mean, I don't want to say I'm doubting MakerBot, but I like to see it.
Yourself.
Well, I mean, we saw. I mean, they had all their 5th gen printers were running beautifully at CES
and at 215, which I was surprised.
Yeah. So, right. Well, I mean, it's.
I remember there was a term. I watched some hacker convention. Guy was talking about, like, he was quoting, I don't know who, it was some president like hundreds of years ago. Trust but verify.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think that was actually a 50s president. I don't remember who.
Well,
it's a good policy to go by.
And based on who we talked to at MakerBot, I'm inclined to believe they're not
yanking us around.
They're not just sweeping it under the rug and say, oh, there's no issues. They're actually fixing it.
It's someone who matters and cares and is very close to the situation. So when that person says that, hey, this is being fixed, I'm very inclined to believe this person.
Yeah, I mean, yes. D, all the above, yes.
So we're also excited to get our Z18 in here for the same reason, because that thing, I mean, we had a Z18 in here before, and we were able to get some good prints out of it, but it's still, that was before the firmware update. Now, when we have one after the firmware update, like, we have some stuff that we actually want to print that will take up.
Can we talk about the project? Let's call it Project W. Can we talk about that?
Which
starts
one's
with a
that?
W.
The one I tried on the air compressor?
A very large.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't want to say it.
So this is something that came up at the
and you guys say who it's funded by?
at the 1 year anniversary party. So we were talking to
It's probably like 11 p.m. when this happened.
talking
And
to
probably
my
a handful of adult.
well, no,
beverages
Dirk was sober when this
us.
happened.
Yeah.
Us.
Oh well, I was
Yeah,
okay.
a
So I
majority
made
of the room was.
yeah. So
actually
had
Well,
consumed.
actually, I didn't
straight
have
and
any
clean
either,
at
but
that point.
Anyway, we have these little 3D printed whistles that we were giving out as basically party favors, and these things. I mean, they're a tiny little whistle, but man, I mean, they work.
Don't get the job.
Jake,
sorry guys.
Jake just crossed in front of the camera, like
Sorry.
I'm sure
like
the autofocus
2 feet,
just went crazy with
2
that.
feet from it.
Way to-
Jake,
way
sit
to-
down.
Sorry,
Ruin the
making
third
sure-
wall.
Making sure Eric's doing his
Making
job.
sure that make sure it's all back in focus. So
right.
this is a wee little whistle, and oh god, that's
That one's not printed. that one's not printed.
No
very
ball
well.
in it. It's just a straight whistle. No warble from like a referee whistle.
But anyway, you
Full
got
of
the
stuff.
point. It's a whistle and it works. I think they got okay. Well, now Jake's got his knife out and he's trying to get rid of the supports. Okay, blowing harder is not gonna
you don't know that.
make it better.
You don't
okay.
know that.
All right. Well, let's get that audio
All
clip
the
and
whistles
just
are
put that on. So anyway, we got this idea because we had just gotten in our big air compressor and we thought, okay, well, what if you had a much larger whistle and you had you just blew a lot of air through it. What's going to happen then? So we have an experiment planned, and this is funded by 107 Acres. Dirk Munson is the owner or one of the owners at 107 Acres. It's a CS, or they're working toward becoming a CSA, and so they want to
What
do
is
something.
a CSA, just for the record?
You know,
'Cause
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's, I think it's
I
like
have no idea what
crop
that is.
sharing association or something like
Sustainable
that.
Agriculture.
Okay.
Or maybe community
Community
sustained.
shared agriculture.
Yeah, something like that. So basically, you get a subscription to a farm, and you can go out there. You can go pick your own crops. You can help raising them, and then you get part of the harvest. So
Right.
all right, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right,
Blow your
so
whistle. Blow your whistle, Jake. No, go ahead.
Blow your own whistle. Go ahead.
All right.
That is
Well,
awful.
so you just
was
maxed
like-
out.
that
You
was
just
like
maxed
half.
out. You just maxed out the microphone. So we're gonna have some artifacts there. But anyway.
Well, wait,
So anyway, you'll get the point that it's going to be a loud whistle. So we're
imagine this thing.
so now imagine like 1.5 foot long.
We're gonna make it 18 inches tall if we can.
Yeah, use up
Alright,
use
we're
up as
gonna-
much
we're
of the
gonna
build
use
volume on that
all
Z18.
We kind of broke this down. How much were we expecting it was gonna weigh and cost to
like
print?
3 pounds.
I think it's like 3.5 pounds.
And that was gonna be about $100.
in cost, but if,
Yeah.
if it was actually
well, and
something
that's just
that was,
that's like just material
Yeah,
cost.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if it was something custom printed, it'd be way more because I mean, we're not really
This
making
one's an experiment.
Yeah, we're not really making anything on this, but
This is just, will it work? Can
Yeah.
we do it?
yeah. So the idea is to take, fill up a thing with compressed air, create some sort of fitting with, and what. So the trouble with having a whistle this big is how do you blow air into it? Because it's way too big to fit into a standard person's mouth. I mean, this is gonna. I mean,
could have
there was
3 dudes
I mean,
next to each
A
other.
standard person.
A standard person's
Maybe
mouth.
some.
some non-standard people out there.
And there's a like lung capacity. Like there's.
Well, right, yeah.
You get,
Well,
like-
we're gonna try it. We're gonna try and see if it works.
But what you need to do is you need to have some sort of adapter to go from fitting either a person's mouth to fitting this 10-inch wide whistle. But now you have to be careful because you might have air blowing just straight through the center of the whistle and not filling the entirety of it. So now you need to have an adapter that has internal ductwork, almost like a fan shape to help to spread it out.
Something like a vacuum attachment.
Yeah. And with 3D printing, we'll be
Yeah.
able to make that internal ductwork, and
We need
we'll
to
have to
consult some pneumatic experts.
right. Well, and so
we're just gonna print one and see if it works first, and then because Fred the mini horses.
yeah, Fred the Mini Horse. Yeah, so
Fred
maybe
the
it's not
Mini Horse.
10-7 acres. I think Fred the Mini
Fred the
Horse.
Mini
Yeah,
Horse.
because he's kind of
We'll put a
the
link for his
mascot.
Facebook
Yeah.
page. Yeah, he needs something to draw more attention. So that's why we're doing this.
Could this technically work if we like stuck it on top of a car and drove really fast?
Well,
Yeah.
like what we had
That's
earlier
stupid,
today.
but I just that popped in my head.
Like, well, we could do that.
There'd be an optimum.
See, we'll put in the vet. We'll put it in my vet, and then somebody will hold it outside the coop top.
You can
The sun,
hold it.
Yeah, you can hold it.
Or what you do is you start making different sized whistles and you tune them.
Oh, okay.
So that and then you have just like little valves that like just
my.
actuator valves to blow. It's almost like
Oh,
it's
you could
almost
use
like a mini organ.
what's the banana thing?
Oh, makey.
Yeah, you could use it with bananas, and then you could have the valves open.
Blow whistle.
Wow, this is
That'd
getting
be. We need to get in touch with Carrie.
I just
Leopold. That's a
I just
project.
imagine the Yellow Road of Texas.
We'll do Sweet Child of Mine. I'll do that on the piano a little bit, so we'll do that.
So anyway, that's our big experiment. So we really can't wait to get the Z18 in because we
it's
want
going
to
to push the limits.
Well, we're gonna make a giant whistle. I mean,
and
why
then
not?
we should make giant head crabs from Half-Life 2.
Oh, definitely.
Full-size head crabs.
I got my creepy little character I made. It was in the last podcast.
your little cry.
Yeah, cry face. Yeah, it's just something I can draw a circle with arms. That's pretty much where that came from.
So
I can model better than I can draw.
one of the other things that we wanted to talk about. So this last week we got in 2 small 3D printers. So one of them was the Cube 3, which we briefly talked about.
It's behind Todd.
Yeah. So we've
I don't know
had
if you can see it.
I don't think that's going to be in the shot.
We've had more time to work with the Cube 3, and I have to say that I am incredibly impressed with its print quality.
Not
Yeah,
the
so
red
this
thing.
is this is a vase I'm holding. It's one of the standard 3D models that comes with the Cubify software. It's a 2-color print, so you have green or black as the main color of the vase, and then green as the accent colors. So this was a 40-hour print, but it printed at 70 microns and was doing the color changing. But the print quality, like I said, I am incredibly impressed from a $1,000 machine that you're able to get a print quality like that. And then there's this other green vase.
And go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
this other green vase was also printed on the Cube 3.
That was
I think,
the first thing
the
we printed.
shells,
other than
the shells aren't great on this, but
Well, right. So the 3D Systems
Talking about
printers.
Z-banding.
Yeah. So well, I'll talk to that in a
Yeah.
second. But the Cube 3D printers. This applies to both the Cube 3 and the Cube Pro. They do their infill a little bit weird. So if you're doing a vase like this, you'll have 2 shells on the outside and 2 shells on the inside. But then there's not really much holding those 2 sets of shells together. But aside from that, I mean, it was a really good print. So it might be something in the software that we just experiment with the number of perimeters and the infill.
One shell, and then probably 50 or 60% infill, because then it'll get away with that. It'll actually, because what's happening is there's 4 shells across, literally, plus the gap. So let's say there's 4.5 shells. What's happening is you got 2 shells, 2 shells, 2 shells, 2 shells. It's like, oh, I'm close enough, good enough.
Yeah, and then it doesn't do the
Where if you do
infill.
1 and 1, it's like, oh, I need 3 in the middle, so then it'll infill it.
So that's something that we're going to play around with. And we have something, it looks like some Z-banding on this, which is, if you
Explain
look
that a
at it,
little
so
bit.
Z-banding, if you look at the side of a print, it'll almost have ridges going up. The thing is, it's very fine on this print, and I almost wonder if it's because of the way that it does the shells, that it allowed the shells to print, kind of print out of whack. Something that Z-banding is also called, I know in Make Magazine when they did their 3D printing shootout, they called it Z-axis resonance. But yeah, I mean, the Cube 3, great print. The big downside, I guess the only downside to this printer, is the cost of the materials. So the material cost ends up being about 3 times what it would be for MakerBot. So it prints really nice. The cartridges the filament comes in are nice. I mean, we haven't ran into any problems with the Cube 3. Just that's the one downside is the filament cost.
Well, and the other one is we've actually put our own Fargo 3D printing build plate tape on there.
Yep.
That'll be probably, by the time this posts, we'll probably have some for order. So go to our website. Eric will put a link in. That really helps. So I know we did some of the
trouble
little
with lifting.
The
Yeah.
test ones kind of kept peeling off at the end of the print for some reason. Just wasn't adhering very
Yeah.
well.
Well, it's the glue stick. It doesn't do a very good job with.
Now, I was talking to someone on Reddit, and I think they're actually a reviewer for Make Magazine, and they were reviewing the Cube 3, and they said that they didn't have any issues with the Cube glue stick. They said they actually had more of an issue trying to get it off. So it seems like, your mileage may vary, but
ABS or PLA?
PLA. Yeah, so I was kind of surprised by that. But
Could be a temperature issue also.
I mean,
Humidity,
I think
temperature.
what it is, it's that first layer gap, or that first layer height. The Cube 3 does a pretty good job of automatically sensing it, but you can also manually change it. So I think it automatically senses it a little bit different on different printers. But when we put the gaffer's tape on there and we sprayed it with hairspray, I mean, we have absolutely no problems getting PLA to stick, and it sticks really well, no warping.
I printed myself a little bow tie. We got to meet with some legislation later this week, so I got a little bow tie. So.
Yeah.
That was printed on the 3 as well.
Yes, and it did pretty well. I think.
Well, and we actually stopped it before. It was probably 90% done. We stopped it before this podcast.
During the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, that's the other downside. The Cube 3 is a bit loud, but so is the Maker.
Not as loud as the MakerBot Mini.
Yeah, the MakerBot Mini.
Fairly good prints for under $1,000.
Yeah, and you're not going to get 2 colors.
It looks good in your house.
Well, and the build volume is
Build
reasonable.
volume's acceptable.
Yeah, 6x6x6.
I mean, if you're doing anything worth 3D printing, that's the minimum you should go. That's why a lot of DLP and SLA machines that are under 10 grand are just a wee little thing, and then you need, you can build maybe the whistle.
It's cool if
that's
you're doing
biggest thing.
It's cool if you're doing jewelry. Like if you're a jeweler, that's amazing. But
but
if you're trying
doing,
to make a like a production thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to make a whole fleet of head crabs, I wouldn't use a.
Yeah, you'd have to make it in 20
Baby head
pieces.
crabs.
You can't control the world with that.
The other small printer that we got in is the Lulzbot Mini. So the Lulzbot Mini is pretty damn impressive.
That wasn't anything from this, but.
With the Mini, they have their own version of Kira, which is really nice. Kira, if you haven't used it, it's a slicing program, really slick, slices really fast, interfaces really well with the Mini. So we have what's that?
Must be still in the back.
Yeah.
I put it over there.
But I mean, pretty much we took it out of the box, plugged it in, and hooked it up to the computer and Kira and did the test print. So one thing, Lulzbot, their documentation for the printer is phenomenal. Like their startup guide, if you've never done any 3D printing before,
it's really nice.
Or if you have done 3D printing, it's fantastic. Well, and this is a poster that they have that describes, I mean, I think every printer manufacturer should do this.
Nice.
So one, it looks really cool. Two, it talks about all the different terms for the different parts of the printer. So it's like a giant glossary. A visual glossary. So if you have any confusion over what a part is, like if you're a newbie to 3D printing, the Lulzbot Mini is really good. The Mini, I'm a really big fan of this thing. So its auto leveling sequence is really cool. So when you're starting up a print, it will heat up the nozzle to a certain temperature, and then it'll actually run it over a brush. It seems like a heavy piece of felt or something like that. That'll clean the nozzle off. Then the nozzle will go down and touch the 4 corners of the build plate. That will tell the printer, okay, how uneven is the build plate, and then as it's printing, it'll automatically compensate for any unevenness. So it prints perfect. Now we had a beta unit in here about 2 months ago. That didn't set. It was good, but it wasn't perfect. The Mini now, the final version, I would have to say that the self-leveling is pretty perfect.
Very well.
Yep. And one thing that I know it talks about. Like we were printing in ABS, you want to make sure that you wipe down your build plate with rubbing alcohol before each print, just to make sure there's no oil from your hands on there, maybe from when you removed it, make sure there's no dust on it. And I mean, we had a print that took up, well, so this vase, it has a pretty large base. I'd say it's maybe 4 by 4 inches.
I feel like Mr. Rogers.
And I mean, the vase didn't warp at all. Printed pretty well. It looks like there's a little bit of Z banding going on, but I mean, for $13.50, I mean, and uses open source materials. It has an all metal hot end, so it has a filament reference guide in there.
I don't know if you can see this, but that's what it is.
Yeah. So their quick start guide, they have. Go back to the page.
Well, I thought you were gonna explain it. You've already looked at it like 10 times.
No, I was just gonna talk about the different filaments. So it talks about. Not only the different types of filaments, so they have on here high impact polystyrene, ABS, PLA, T-glaze, 3 different types of nylon, lay wood, and lay brick. So it has the temperature that you should be printing at, it has the print bed temperature, but then it also talks about how you should be preparing your print bed. For example, with the exception of the nylons, all of them are, you just wipe it down with isopropyl alcohol, and then for the nylon, you use a PVA glue stick to make sure that it will stick to the bed.
Another interesting thing here, so they talk about file types, STL, OBJ, AMF, G-code. Standard tessellation language is STL. A file format that
I did not. Yeah.
Well, it's like we call it STL, but we never really thought about what the S, the T, and the
standard
L stand for.
tessellation language. A
I
file
figured,
format
like,
contains a surface geometry of
stereolith-
3-dimensional object with triangulated surface commonly used in 3D printing.
That's why it comes out as triangles when I export from 3D Studio Max.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be
Well,
triangles.
then what you need to do is go into your options.
Well, no,
probably.
I need to bump it up pretty
Well,
much.
you need to go, like for Inventor, I go to options and I suck down the different settings. So those are two cool things. I'm really excited to hang this poster somewhere. Make sure I'm gonna put that back so I don't.
Well,
So
wherever we end up having
What
Mini in our
changed
shop.
between the because we had the early model and we have the one now. The only one that I know the difference as far as like the actual hardware is that they changed the handle because we had the Ninja Grip handle before.
Oh yeah, the handle was
And
Ninja Flex. Now it's ABS.
It's significantly thicker, and now it's ABS.
Yeah,
I think it was just, it felt like it was just kind of like a little fingertip gripper thing before.
I think what they ran into with the Ninja Flex is that it either started to tear over time, or it. I mean, the ABS, it goes from all the way on that inner edge. On the Ninja Flex, it didn't go all the way to the inner edge of the printer, so you still had kind of that edge of the metal frame.
Anybody
digging into
that's
your
ever
hand.
made their own computer has probably cut their hand on that case before.
I mean, it wasn't sharp. It was just if you're carrying it for any extended amount of
it's gonna
time.
cut in a little bit.
Yeah. But I think on their initial hardware, like the beta hardware, there was more of a Z banding issue. They seem to have gotten most of that worked out, and it might even be just in the slicing too. I don't know, but it's a pretty darn impressive piece of hardware.
And as of right now, if you guys want one, we have 3 in stock. As of
Monday.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't come out till
19th.
Thursday.
Well, I know it doesn't come out till Thursday or Friday,
We
but
will
we
take
might
pre-orders.
Well,
Could be
because they're
gone by then.
Yeah,
because I mean
So-
Thursday's the official launch date, so we can't sell or we can't ship out
guess
any
by the
printers.
time
I mean, we
this
can take
comes
we
out-
can
pre-orders.
ship them on Wednesday.
We can take
And they
pre-orders.
show
We just
up
can't.
Thursday.
We just
How would
can't
that
ship
be?
them. Well, that's fine.
But this comes out Friday, so it'll be.
Because that's what we'll probably ship our 2 that we've already sold.
Oh, and the other thing.
So we have 3 in stock. Before he changes, we have 3 in stock.
Okay.
Shoot us an email, give us a phone call, talk to us somewhere so you guys can get your hands on one.
Or check out the website, which by the time this goes live should be redesigned. Where we're very
Should? Big question.
Should.
mark.
should be. Well, right. This is So I'm trying to set myself a goal here. I mean, it's
What
pretty.
did I finish in 3
No
days?
Yes.
pressure now.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean the website upgrade is pretty much done. It's just I need to get all
You
the
need
content
to get some
fun.
different colors. In
Well, I know. Okay, it's a work.
color
Colors and the
tricky.
content.
Oh.
It's a work in progress. But the big thing, the big time suck was getting all of the inventory moved over from one platform to the new platform. So now that that's done, it's just really getting final fit and polish. I mean, it's going to, by the end of tomorrow night, which is going to be Tuesday, I should have pretty much all the content exactly where it needs to be. Wednesday is going to be QA and polishing stuff up. And then either Wednesday night or Thursday night, late at night, is when I'm going to do the transition. So then when people go to fargo3dprinting.com, it goes to the new site.
Be easier to use for you.
Yeah, getting the links all set up.
So, if you're watching this on Friday and it's not working,
You know that I was full of
John
crap.
Screwed up.
Yeah.
Looks like you're buying donuts Sunday.
Yeah.
Sounds
Well,
good.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Sandy's. They have Sandy's donuts.
Oh, and if
Sandy's
anyone
is downtown
There were-
Fargo
but they have
now.
a vending machine now, I heard.
Bars.
or they're working on
What does the vending machine vend? Like, what does it
donuts.
give
I don't know how. I just know that it's something that Fargo's
mean,
working.
Sorry.
That's a
no,
heck
that's
of a
cool.
tangent.
Well, that wasn't a tangent.
you? If you ever come to Fargo, Sandy's Donuts has the best donuts in town.
Yeah, that's
So come
true.
check us out if you're in Fargo, and then go check or
Oh,
bring
go to the donuts first.
Yeah,
Get
don't
some
and
bring
then
donuts.
bring them here.
Get like a
and then-
12-pack. Bring us what you don't finish.
If you come on a Monday, you'll be guest starring on the podcast.
Hey.
So there's a little bit of a, it's only like $600 to come here. I mean,
it depends on where you come from.
Yeah, I mean, if you're from Vegas or Phoenix or Orlando, you can get here for like
Allegiant.
$8 on
And
Allegiant.
this is the best time of year if you're from
Yes.
those areas to come.
Yes, it is the best time to see the beautiful countryside of North Dakota.
Yeah, we have no snow here.
It's actually been melting a lot. But
It's totally not cold.
No snow.
No,
there's
there's
a nice
not-
layer of ice.
yeah.
So bring your skates.
It's almost 40 degrees Fahrenheit today.
Yeah.
That's
There
actually
was?
really amazing.
Heat wave.
There was.
Oh, so something else that I wanted to mention.
Oh my god, shiny.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you can see, if you're watching the video version, I'm wearing a Fargo 3D printing t-shirt. We've had a few people ask us if we would start making them available for sale. I mean, those are our friends, so they sometimes say nice things to us just to say nice things. But if there is, if you're out there and you really want a Fargo 3D printing shirt, is it something that we should start making available on the site? Or,
T-shirts and hoodies.
Yeah,
We
if-
can't do a run of like 10 shirts, but if we get enough interest,
Minimum's 25.
yeah. It depends on where we're going, but
Yeah, so if it makes sense for shirts, if you think, hey, yeah, I'd spend $15 on a Fargo 3D printing shirt, okay, just let us know, and if we have enough people that really want to do it, then we'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it's that or we'll put it up on the website, and then once we hit a certain amount, then we'll ship them.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't mind seeing some more colors. I just like, obviously, I like big, loud.
Well,
everything.
right. I mean, we could start out with
That's just me.
with the just black, and yeah, if all
Maybe
of us
someday we'll do a tie-dye.
Yeah.
I would be very happy with
either well, tie dye would be kind of cool.
that. We have all
Or
those
do
Ask me about
colors.
my printers.
Or do tie dye specifically with the 4 colors that we're going with on the site. You know, that sort of magenta, the blue, the green, and the orange.
I don't know. That might change by Friday.
Yeah, we'll see.
Once you give me the final rundown, I can say, yeah, that doesn't look nice.
Oh, I don't know.
If we
You don't know
did
how
that
to change it.
Yellow and orange with a.
Somebody writes
logo.
the checks here. I wonder who that is.
Yeah,
I wonder.
We should get
The head crabs.
really
It's the head crabs. We make all of our money through head crabs.
Yeah, we just throw them at people. We go into banks, just throwing head crabs at people, and
And then they
there
throw
you
us
go.
money.
Yeah, they've just got too many darn bankers with
Tread
crowbars.
lightly. Oh. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Any of you Half-Life
it.
2 players out there will understand that.
It's alright. They
So just some Gordon Freeman action going on.
he never talks. Did you notice that?
Yeah, well, I knew that.
Well, and did you know that we're still anticipating?
Everybody
Episode
online
3.
makes jokes about Gabe Newell and threes.
Yeah, because he never brings.
Half-Life 3 confirmed. Fargo 3D 3.
Whoa!
Half-Life 3 confirmed. You heard it here first.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I'm pretty sure I'm not coming to work for like a week
the
and a
joke
half.
the joke that I saw that I liked the most was well, there were a couple, but it was not Gordon Freeman. Vote Gabe Newell for president. There'll be no World War III. So,
Well,
I like that
there
stuff.
will.
It'll be
It'll
World
just-
War II episode 2.
There will. It'll just be
2.5.
extremely delayed.
It's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. They're ready any day now.
Yeah, that whole episodic content they were working on.
Have you played it? It's really fun.
Well, it's good, but it was supposed to be like 1 episode every 6 months or every quarter or maybe even just every year, and that
Well, maybe Disney should
was
buy them,
what
and then they
3-4
can
years
have,
ago.
Maybe Disney should buy them for $4
Oh,
billion, and then they
don't
can do
even
it.
don't even
Disney, if
tempt
you're
that.
listening,
No, Disney, don't ruin
good investment.
Steam.
Well,
Don't ruin Steam.
Well, they're not gonna ruin it. You just buy them and tell them that they have to make a third.
Oh wait, no, it's not Steam. It's
Valve?
Valve. Yeah, well, Valve owns.
they're kind of
Steam.
co-owned
Well, and
things.
I'd love a Portal 3.
Portal 2 is good.
Well, I haven't played the co-op.
We've got
Yeah.
Cube 3.
Yeah, we do. Well, and we have
We have a lot of threes
We
here.
can print a companion cube.
Ooh.
We already have,
we should
right?
do it. Yeah, we should do a nice version because we
That
printed.
one's kind of.
Well, so we have a big
We're looking
ugly.
past the
Yeah,
cube.
we have a big ugly companion cube that was printed. Someone printed it in ABS,
I wonder who that was.
100% infill, and
Uncovered.
uncovered, so not an
On
enclosed
a-
chamber. It was on a Taz. It was a Taz one, like the
We use it
original
as our
Taz.
textbook for failed prints.
Yeah. So Ryan Hatfield, thank you for that.
Oh, it was Ryan. I thought it was
Yeah,
you.
no, it was Ryan. I was kind of peeved because it went through like half a spool of material just printing it. Because it seriously, I think it's 100% infill, and when you feel it, it's
massive.
a heavy cube. Well, I mean, there's so much warping going on and
Oh my
the
gosh.
cracking. Yeah, I told you.
Delamming pretty bad.
I told you it's heavy.
It'll keep your boat in place in the summer too.
Yeah. So I don't know how much of this you can see, but I mean, this is. I mean,
pretty
it's
bad.
it's so curved on the bottom, and it's actually burnt. It burnt the ABS because it was such a long. Yeah, it's sort of a
Oh.
toasty color on the bottom because it was on
marshmallows.
the heated build plate for so long that it
okay.
started to
That's probably
degrade
like
the
a
ABS.
2-day print.
I think it was a 2-day print.
Yeah, let me-
Well, and this was before Lulzbot had their stuff figured out. They
know if you
well,
can
I
hear
mean,
this.
it's not that they. Yeah, so that we just dropped the companion cube on the floor.
It shook.
Oh no!
Yeah. But Lulzbot,
Air
in
compressors.
their first version,
Not loud.
their very first version of the Taz, they had linear not linear bearings, linear bushings. So they were IGUS bushings, but they were slightly larger than the linear rod that they were on, and so there was that much play in between everything. I mean, it's rock solid now. I mean, it's really dialed in. But their first version, they learned a lot from the first version. I think it had probably number 40 or 50 off the line.
They said he was the first 50.
Well, yeah, it was something like
One
that.
of the first 50s.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what else are we talking about today?
Yeah, that's it.
All done.
So I think that's
We really need to try
Yeah.
to get Lulzbot on the podcast sometime.
Yes.
I know
We
I
need
could
to
figure
Skype
it out.
Jeff.
We just need
Yeah.
to
Jeff?
test
Who's
it out.
yeah, Jeff Moe,
Yeah,
their
we need to
CEO.
Skype Jeff.
A lot
Yeah,
of fun
well,
things we can
either
talk
This is a
about.
good time to come to Fargo.
Yeah,
It is. Well, he might be coming here at some point. Can't say why, but
Jeff.
he might be coming here.
Yeah, Jeff or Harris would be fun too. Ben would be fun because
Just all those.
They're all fun.
Yeah.
We need to
Lulzbot's
get him
awesome.
and then get Ben Bernard in here. Just Ben.
Oh
Ben.
man.
Oh, we should,
Ben squared.
Yeah, Ben squared.
we need to get. We should have Grant from MakerBot. 3.
Oh,
Who's
man.
the sales
Get
guy.
the
We should have Ben
Get the
here.
trifecta.
And then we could have Harris from Lulzbot. And then
Steve.
Yeah, well,
Steve
well, maybe. I don't know. If
we need a bigger table.
I mean, well, yeah.
I might actually have to do a 2-camera one for that.
Get Avi to fly in.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great just to have
It's
all
just-
of them
I
just
don't
sitting
know,
here.
that'd be-
See, we could do. We could
Could you imagine Could you imagine the tension in the room for that?
Someone wouldn't
That
show
would
up.
be the.
Just
we would be
guessing
a
with
hit
the
job
airlines
if we can
and
do
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
If
Well,
we can
okay.
have
So,
all 3 CEOs.
all right. Well,
in one room.
if
Plus Ben Bernard.
if the 3 CEOs, if any of you are
Open
listening
invitation.
to this, open invitation. You say that we can do this, and we'll find a way to make it happen. Even if it's
We
time
will
you're gonna come to
fly
Fargo.
you. We will fly you out here to sit on the podcast. We will put you up in a room, and we will
won't tell
feed you.
We'll tell you what room. It's just you're all in a room. Have fun. Good luck.
Oh,
Fight.
but so that's the offer. It's out there. But all 3 have to confirm. It can't be 2 of them.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess on that note,
And they have to bring donuts.
Ooh,
Sandy's
no, Eric's
donuts.
gonna bring Sandy donuts because
Well,
he screwed up in the podcast.
or
What did I
Jen,
screw up?
the
video.
MakerBot CEO will have to bring some bagels straight from New York. That'd be good.
Well, they should all bring something from their
Hey,
local.
there we go.
We could have chippers.
What do they have in Colorado that's legal here?
Oh. Yeah, I suppose it has to be legal here.
They'll
too,
bring
huh?
hiking
Don't bring if they bring any
Hiking
brownies. I'm not having any.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess on that note, going out
That's the
on
place to
that.
stop.
Yeah, so, on behalf of Jake, Todd, Eric, and myself, thanks again for listening to
Thanks,
the
guys.
Fargo 3D printing show. Watching, if you're watching the video version.
I'm always watching.
If you haven't already, definitely subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes, follow us on our various social media channels. You name it, we're probably on it. So again, on behalf of all of us,
Yeah.
thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. I was gonna get my milk real quick. Hold on.
That's fine.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't forget.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't forget mine.